Oh, hold on. I'm trying to see. They just kicked me off, y'all. Like, that's funny right there. That is hilarious. Hold on. Let me go back. Okay, I see me now. That is funny. They just kicked me off. These people are hilarious. They say, not on my watch. Violation. Flag on the play. No debunking over here, buddy. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna try to go back. Hold on. It's like as soon as you start cooking up on it, they like, oh no, we can't do it. All right. So I'm trying to remember where I left off at. So basically it's like they started off saying that for it, but as soon as you get to what Planet Nibiru is, they say, oh no, it's a camera defect. They start making excuses up. They don't want to just say, yeah, you know what? It could possibly be that. And we'll leave it alone at that. No, they want to take what people say it could be from the facts that they're getting or the research they're getting, and they want to knock that and take it away and throw their own narrative to it, which is crazy. So this other one, let me hurry up for they knock this one down too. These people is on it, ain't it? This is crazy.
Lake Biological Station to document local wildlife populations like bears and bobcats. But after checking the photos one morning, the
I'm
researchers
back,
detect a
people. I'm
much more
back.
peculiar creature. At 6:53 p.m., a strange man appears on one of the cameras, stark naked.
Look at this. So since they want to flag and knock stuff down, I'm gonna just run through it myself, right? So you see this guy right here in the camera. He's running through the forest, no clothes on, booty hole naked, right? There that animal blood is serious, ain't it? But running through that forest, booty hole naked, right? And people are like comparing him to an animal because they're like the way he's running on four legs and I mean all on his two legs and feet, and they have cameras set up through the whole woods, right? So you guys could look this up. You could look this video up and actually watch it. So this guy's running through the woods, no clothes on, and he runs from one camera in the woods that's set up, and he runs like maybe I forgot. It's a nice amount of time. He walked a nice amount of miles like that, and they caught him on various cameras the same way, walking on all fours. And people would like, "Oh, that's a strange animal," and then they look in and they're like, "Oh no, that's a human." So they see the guy run through the woods like this, and they're like, yeah, he's probably on drugs or something, right?" So in my mind, right, as soon as I see this, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's the animal genetics talking, right?" But then secondly, I'm like, I know so many people that took drugs, right? LSD, all this, right? I never had any of them. I had family members that did it. I never had anybody come and be like, yeah, I'm a giraffe today, and just start trying to reach for the trees to eat, or I'm a dog today and start barking. I never had that. I had them like think like they like have superpowers. I had them like be like, yeah, I can move remotes and I can read minds and I can see spirits and I can tell your future and all that. And I have the best advice for you. I seen all that from my type people when they're on these type drugs. I never seen them take drugs and act like an animal. You just take some LSD and start barking and running around on the floor. I'm gonna look at you like, you okay? That's not the drugs doing that. No, all the drugs do is enhance whatever you feel deep in your subconscious. That's all it does. So it's funny that they did this because it's just like proof that their genetics are what they are. You know what I mean? These the only people that do this, and these the only people that mutate to have higher similarities to animals. These the only people that do it. So I had to show that too. Um, let me see. Look, they got. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
Woods?
I gotta
We're
see
all
if they go.
familiar with the story.
They try to they try to compare him to the Jungle Book. What's his name? Mowgli. What's his name again? They try to compare it to him, like, yeah, maybe he was raised by animals. That's probably what it was. No, he got it in his genetics. That's what he is. He's the animal. These people are funny. They try to debunk everything that they could think of. And then the other one I wanted to get into was the stones. So, right here, it's called Death Valley, right? So, um, yeah, these people they took my live down, so I'm switching over to this one. So I'm not gonna play too much of it because they might knock it down again. So if you want to see it, you could just tap onto it. The title's right there. But in this valley, they have rocks and things of that nature in the valley, right? And these rocks, they found them moving across through through nature, right? And this is the only one where they actually hit it on the nail. All the other ones, they kind of try to take it away from what it really is, but this one hits it on the nail. These rocks they see are moving. These are like 7,000-pound rocks, and they're on one side of the nature. Hold on, let me switch over this way. Switch it up. So these rocks, they're on like one side, right? They're on this side of the desert. Then they catch them later on in the camera glimpse, and they done made it some miles down the desert. And they like, how is these rocks moving? They go out, they don't see no footprints of animals moving it. They don't see nothing. And they're like, how is these rocks doing this, right? And come to find out, it's the weather that's pushing these rocks across. It's the intense heat and basically from my perspective, I get right. I'm like, if you think about rocks underground in the earth's crust, right? They shift and they move around according to the heat temperatures and pressure and all these things of nature, right? And these are rocks. These are mostly rocks that's under on your first layer of the crust, right? They move they're not living rocks. They move around. So the fact that they catch these rocks that's on the desert moving around, it's like it kind of resembles how it moves under the crust, how certain temperatures can move and make materials move. So it threw their head off because they're like looking at it above ground. They're like, what the fuck? But in my head, I said, yeah, that makes sense because if rocks move underground, they can move on the top layer of the earth, in the troposphere region. They can move too if the weather is getting more intense and the heat is raising and the pressure is getting more strong because of the hot air not being able to escape out of the layers of the earth's atmosphere. So the fact that it's able to do that, it makes the rocks move just like how it will move underground, how they will shift around. It's doing the same thing. So it just threw these people head off. They was just confused. They was like, something has to be happening. But they actually had to take this situation and actually say, you know what? Yeah, it's the weather doing it. So I'm gonna try to go here. These people, they must be timing in on the live. So I'm gonna just go to the part where they basically cut to the chase. Let me see.
McCarthy also notes these sailing stones in Death Valley aren't the only rocks said to rock and roll on their own.
There are stones in Romania called the Living Stones of Romania, which are more officially known as Trovants. And they actually grow. And some people even believe that they walk and move on their own.
Scientists say Trovants grow after heavy rains when the stones actually secrete cement. This is because of a chemical reaction that happens when the minerals in the stones come into contact with large amounts of water. But could our rocks actually be alive and out for an evening stroll? Or is there something more mysterious at play here? Let's turn to our experts to find out. First, NASA geologist Dr. Bob Anderson analyzes whether the sailing stones could be living rocks like in Romania.
Living rocks means the rock itself has life in it, that it has bacteria or it has plant-like creatures in their sheer act of growing and moving, are moving the rocks. But I do not believe that these rocks are living rocks because it is in a desert area. If these rocks are in a very hot area most of the time, the bacteria would have a hard time to live.
But if these stones are not alive, could someone or something just be dragging them across the sand overnight?
For a long time, people thought that they're aliens because you don't see any footprints. So they can't be man-made. Also, some of these rocks that are moving are very large. They're 700-800-pound blocks that people could not move.
So if the rocks aren't living beings and they're too heavy for humans to move, then could their tracks be caused by extreme weather? We turn to meteorologist Juan Hernandez.
We don't see any movement in the summer. It's too hot, it's too dry. The movement that we see with these stones actually occurs mainly in the late winter and into the early spring.
Hernandez thinks that observation provides a key clue. He suspects that under certain conditions, the racetrack playa could turn into a slippery, shallow pond with moving sheets of ice.
You've got 4 conditions that need to be met for this to actually occur. The first of which is the surface has to be wet. So it had to have rained. The second condition, it has to be cold enough to freeze. The third condition, there has to be partial melting. It has to warm up to maybe the upper 30s, lower 40s. That's when the movement starts to happen. And then it has to be windy to push the rocks across that semi-frozen surface.
But can a breeze really move a 700-pound rock?
No.
Hernandez explains that the uniqueness of this location may have something to do with it.
Death Valley is known for its extreme weather conditions. So it's likely going to take potentially 30, 40, even 50-mile-an-hour winds to blow across Racetrack Playa.
It's an interesting theory, but is there data to back it up?
See that right there? The weather. The weather is controlling how these heavy rocks are moving. And these people are just thrown off by it. So I wanted to get on that too. You know, they done kicked the boy off, you know, doing all that. I don't know why they suspended that other lie. They just was mad for some reason. Something didn't go right their way. They say he talking too much. Cut it. Cut it. But I was basically, so in the last video, I was showing how they was talking about the sky quakes, right? So it was sounds in the sky that was making like a boom sound. It sounded like spacecraft. You know, people said it was extraterrestrial, and these people try to debunk it by saying, oh, it's sky quakes. It's the sky shaking, but we don't know why or where it's coming from, but it's definitely a sky quake. It's not any extraterrestrial. And it's like, come on now. How do you think it's a sky quake in the sky that's doing this, and you don't even know what a sky quake is? You just made it up. You say it's anything but what you saying. It's not extraterrestrial. That's one thing I do know. That's basically what y'all saying. And that's crazy to me because I feel like at the same time of, I feel like at the same time of all this happening, these people are trying to just stay away from what's really happening. These people are trying to run away from the truth. You know, they do that, and then they turn around and say, yeah, it's an object behind the moon, and people saying it's Nibiru, but we're saying it's probably just a faulty camera or some type of trick going on. We don't think it's no planet Nibiru from a prophecy from a while ago that said this is how the earth will shift and change and reset. No, it's definitely not that. This is definitely just a problem in your lens. You got a little dust in your lens. That's not planet Nibiru. That's dust on your lens. That's basically how they basically putting it. So I had to show that. I wanted to show this as well. They would probably get on some bull crap with this too. So I'm gonna just go through a couple parts in here and show some parts that stuck out to me. This is proof is out there. You know, it's the UFO sighting increasing globally.
According to some scholars of Islam, there are verses in the Holy Quran that seem to allude to the possibility of extraterrestrial life. So perhaps it's no surprise that we're getting reports of UFOs from Islamic countries like Pakistan. Are they the real deal? Let's take a look. January 25th, 2022, Islamabad, Pakistan.
Hold up, it's It's acting slow. Oh, let me just switch this over. I gotta go down to my definition for some reason. They don't want to play it in high definition tonight.
It's dusk, and Arsalan Warich is watching the sunset from the roof of his home. He's just about to go inside when he spots this.
This is just an odd thing.
Do you see it? A mysterious black object is hovering in the sky.
Definitely not a bird.
As Arsalan
Definitely not a
zooms in,
bird.
It appears to resemble a flying rock with a huge bulge in the back. The craft hovers almost stationary for nearly 2 hours, about 1,500 feet in the air, at times
Ooh, 2 hours.
changing shape until it almost resembles a triangle.
I was shocked and excited, actually. There was no light or anything. It wasn't emitting or reflecting any light.
So that's one. And the way they debunked that, they said 2 planes was probably just riding beside each other, and that's what caused that, that to look like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all saw that, that's nothing new. That's one that I had to show for sure. Oh, look at this crop right here.
During that time, in the same area as the rock ship, the ancient
Look at that. It's like a whole ship on the ground. It's basically, that's what they signify. And this is the walk path to come out of the ship, or what you would call that light that comes out the ship that everybody says you walk into the light to get on the ship. That's the same thing it shows right here. That's crazy right there for it to be happening.
Giant keyhole-shaped formations. And here's where it gets weird. George Haas says similar formations are found in one other place. Mars. Look at them side by side. The photo on the right was taken by NASA.
This structure on Mars is completely symmetrical. It's a keyhole formation with a circular mound at the top and a triangular form at the bottom.
Is there a connection between this part of Japan and the Red Planet? Something that had cosmic visitors interested in both? The Valley of Asuka, where the rock ship and these tombs are found, is considered the birthplace of Japanese civilization. Many cultural transformations, including the introduction of Buddhism, began there around 500 AD, but little is known about the era before that. So what can our experts dig up? Archaeologist Dr. Ed Barnhart considers that the rock ship of Masuda could have anything to do with the legend of the hollow ship.
There's a whole myth around this magical woman. It was actually documented in 3 historic texts that talked about the same story.
Still, Barnhart agrees the formation is much older than the rock ship legend of the early 1800s. He joins other...
I mixed up that video, but I'm glad I showed you that still. I want to definitely go into this one, but I'm gonna pick up another one where a guy like talks deeply about it. Matter of fact, I should probably just go to that one now and then come back to this one, because he had a like a testimony basically. Man, it's gonna be like hell to find it, just because the internet wants to play slow tonight. They want us to suspend lives like they just did.
Day 2 of creation often gets overlooked because of, well, the false heliocentric.
Feeling like Rambo, hitting her hump, bitch, we ain't no Campbell. Rocking her right out of crop in her sandals. Big booty bitch and the bitch getting handled. Other than...
Let me see.